We are leaving wokeness and weakness behind. No more pronouns, no more climate change obsession, no more emergency vaccine mandates, no more dudes in dresses. We're done with that shit.
In a big move, the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed a ban on transgender military service to take effect while legal battles continue. The court's conservative majority issued an unsigned order lifting a lower court injunction blocking the ban. The order also indicated that the Supreme Court's 3 left-leaning judges, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, sought to deny the emergency request to lift the injunction. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt called the ruling another massive victory for the administration, while Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said no more trans in a post on X. Shortly after taking office in January, Trump signed a pair of executive orders that enabled the Pentagon to implement the ban, revoking Biden-era protections for transgender troops. His executive order requiring only male or female sex recognition impacts ID documents and government forms. He followed up with a directive on January 27th, linking transgender identity with false gender claims and poor discipline. In February, the Department of Defense announced it would begin discharging currently serving transgender personnel. 7 service members, including Navy pilot Emily Schilling, filed a lawsuit challenging the ban's constitutionality. In the same month, the State Department also removed the option to select X for gender on U.S. passports. In March, a federal court blocked the policy, ruling that the administration lacked proof it harmed military effectiveness.
When President Trump asked me to take this job, he told me, well, one key thing, but really 2. The first was, Pete, you're gonna have to be tough as shit. They're gonna come after you. Boy, he was not kidding about that one. This job requires a steel spine, and that's fine. My job's easy compared to what you do. We're doing the work on behalf of the American people and the American warfighter. But then the president, after he said that, went on to say, I need you and I want you to restore the warrior ethos in our military, full stop. And that's been my first priority since day one, is restoring the warrior ethos. It's one of the most fundamental of those 3 objectives. Again, humans more important than hardware. Everything starts and ends with warriors from training to the battlefield. We are leaving wokeness and weakness behind. No more pronouns, no more climate change obsession, no more emergency vaccine mandates, no more dudes in dresses. We're done with that shit. We're focused on lethality, meritocracy, accountability, standards, and readiness. That's why since Election Day, since President Trump was elected, recruitment and retention numbers are up historically. Attracting military service is something Americans have long been attracted to, but more so when they see leadership they want to follow. They want to be in disciplined formations that value them not for immutable differences, not for the color of our skin or gender, but because of honor and integrity and grit and patriotism. They want a meritocracy where they can work hard, make themselves better, kick ass, and rise up. They're looking for adventure, camaraderie, risk, danger. They want to push themselves and test themselves against others. They want to flourish in an environment that embraces hard work, discipline, and the warrior ethos. Special operators know a thing or 2 about all of those. I've experienced it firsthand across the world. I have had a chance to get up and do PT with the troops oftentimes when we're traveling. And some people think it's a novelty. It's not. It's always been a basic part of military service. You get up early, you get up, and you work out because we're going to be fit and we're not going to be fat. And even if the SecDef has a little bit of time to do it, every troop has an opportunity to do it. The problem is, it went from let's do PT with the troops to every special operations group in the world trying to smoke the SecDef. I find myself almost blacking out by the end of the workout and then having to hand out coins and try to stay right ways up. Appreciate that. You, this group, have long been the standard bearers of what it means to be an American warrior. An exclusive club where the cost of membership is commitment, toughness, courage, grit, paired with accountability, intelligence, and skill. At times, and this is a key thing and something we've seen firsthand, when the broader force has strayed from the path, has strayed from sanity, has strayed from standards, you have been keepers of the flame. So it's great to see so many outstanding leaders this morning who embody that warrior ethos. General Fenton, thank you for your courage, your determination, and your grit, showing your forces what right looks like. And of course, Command Sergeant Major Shorter, the real boss of SOCOM. Thanks for leading your troops and demonstrating that the U.S. military's strategic advantage lies in the strength, and it's true, of our NCO Corps. Like so many other SOF leaders past and present, you have kept the flame of the warrior ethos burning bright. You know, in 1943, naval combat demolition units were preparing for the imminent invasion of Sicily. Lieutenant Commander Draper Kaufman compressed their physical training program into a demanding week known as Hell Week. Even with the demand to get many more sailors to the line more quickly, Lieutenant Commander Kaufman kept the standards high. Between 30 to 40% of students failed the program, but those who graduated were ready. Today, the standards remain high across special operations training programs, and I thank you for that. In fact, we're doing standards assessments across DoD, and we started at special operations, multiple accessions courses, and the report back from the Green Berets and the Army Rangers that we sent the Navy SEALs to those courses is standards still high, sir. We're heading out to other formations and basic courses to determine why those standards have dropped and to make sure they're raised. In this particular instance, it included the Navy's rigorous Basic Underwater Demolition School, or BUDS, which traces its roots to Lieutenant Commander Kaufman's training. As you know, it still features Hell Week. High expectations and high attrition. Soft, fat, easy, weak, mushy, and quitter are not the adjectives that attract these types of professionals. It's the opposite. And this will continue. We will never compromise. We cannot compromise on standards. Our standards will be high, and in combat formations, they will be gender neutral. Because the weight of a .155 round or a rucksack or a human being doesn't care if you're a man or a woman. All that matters is whether you are capable of executing that combat mission in front of you. I spent a lot of time in a town in Washington, D.C., where there's a deficit in one thing: common sense. I mean, that's why President Trump is so popular. That's why the American people responded. He leads with common sense. He's asked me to apply common sense. Our combat formations don't need to look like Harvard University. They need to look like killers, trained and skilled and prepared. The standards need to be high, and they need to be gender neutral, so that if you can do the job, you're in that formation, and if you can't, you are not. That is restoring the warrior ethos.